Hi there. I am Liz Axelrod, and I'm going to be reading you some poems for the Badmouth reading series. I want to say thank you to Rebecca Aronson for inviting me to do this reading, and I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to start by reading from my book, Go Ask Alice. It came out on Finishing Line Press in 2016, and the lovely illustration on the cover is done by my daughter, who graduated college just a couple of years ago from SVA, School of Visual Arts in New York City, and she was in the animation program. So I'm pretty proud of that. Anyway, let me jump right into the poems. This first one is called Photosynthesis. And each poem has an epigraph at the beginning with a quote from Alice in Wonderland. That's the Go Ask Alice. So, quote for photosynthesis is, by the by, what became of the baby? I thought leaves grew green because you told me they were made from sun and dirt and water. I thought grapes were purple because you told me they swapped color on the vine with leaves. I thought love was artificial like those Barbie dolls you bought me when I asked what I would look like when I grew. How can anyone have a waist that small and hips so big? And how plastic must I be to learn to bend myself to Barbie life? When Ken doesn't even have an anatomical presence. And I just learned they want to outlaw hugs in Tennessee. Hugs are gateway drugs to be discouraged, and sex is evil. Of course, it's impossible if you try it with your Barbie body. You told me I would bloom like unfurling leaves and grapes, and now I spend my hours drinking them fermented as payment for my anti-light dependent interactions. I thought growth required only sun and dirt and water. This next poem I'm going to read is Quarry. And the quote for Quarry from Alice in Wonderland is, curtsying as you're falling through the air, do you think you could manage it? And what an ignorant little girl. She can blink both eyes alternatively, but she can't eat gluten. Peanut butter sticks to her dimples and causes unsightly bumps on rice cakes and crumbles scratch waste on her submarine hips. She tries to lay flat and smooth truth out of her pasted lines and pebbles. She purports to describe the experience. With pen and a few more loose leaf sheets, she'll craft a pile large enough to stave off paper cuts and swipe the bud from last night's dive into the glass cloud highway quarry, all turquoise sheen and tractor trucks, uploading piles of useless pastel gravel. And the last one I'm going to do from this book is called Daddy Dearest. And the quote for Daddy Dearest is, it's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Picture this for a moment. A page that truly heals, found on the internet at 2:30 a.m. with all the tools and fixes you would ever need to overcome failings, longings, mistrust, jealousy, and with unlimited healing powers, but only while you're watching Netflix. I try to explain to my father, who is still stuck on age and violence, that there will be no more babies, but I'm quite certain his jello molds and candy wrappers will remain sweetly tart and satisfying, while rare beef tempts me during all the separate phases of the waxing moon. You don't call anymore. No, I found a savior at mykarmasok.com. I troll with myself and sort through his selfishness and why I have no desire to pour sticky gel into that particular fish-shaped copper mold. The truth is, Daddy's lost his power, and the magnetic pull only affects the soles of my feet when I'm barefoot on the beach in salt, or searching online for polished stones to fill the blue mason jars on my windowsill. So now I'm going to do some new poems. And these are all basically new poems that I've been writing, some during the pandemic, some before. Um, I'm working on a couple of manuscripts. One is a poetry manuscript called The Princess Manifesto, where I kind of reimagine a bunch of fairy tales and then add a whole bunch of other stuff. And then another one is a poetry memoir where I'm taking glimpses and putting them in vignettes, glimpses of things that happened, obviously memoir stuff. So this first one is a glimpse. Glimpse. 4 girls sitting on a falling tree in a Tucson alley, hatching plans to get away. I just wanted to see the beach. Long after my mom said, "Why did you do this to me?" Long after I realized the danger hitchhiking from Tucson to Long Beach, California could bring. I remember the bottle of 151 rum and the cigarettes passed between us. Don't remember much after we got back. I was the only one who stayed in school, graduated, went to college, a few times before mastering the art of education. One of us was left behind. One of us went to Ohio with an abusive boyfriend never to return. The boyfriend came back alone. One of us went to Catholic school. I made it through that night in jail, throwing our food and balled up wet toilet paper at the ceiling, screaming for cigarettes and blankets. Made it through the van full of frat boys, the Mexican migrants, and dancing around the bonfire, the trucker with the big sleeping cabin, and the gas station boy where the police found us, changing clothes and smoking hash. I'm still here. Just lucky, I guess. And the next couple of poems are from the Princess Manifesto. This poem, Belle Was All About the Quotes, has been selected to be published in Maintenant 15, which is from Small Rooms, 3 Rooms Press, and will be out, I believe, this summer, probably sometime in either July or August. More information about that can be found on my website as soon as it comes out, www.yourmoonsmind.com, which is also in the bio and stuff here. So this is Belle Was All About the Quotes. She read Nietzsche. He who fights with monsters might take care lest he becomes a monster. She read Kant. Look closely, the beautiful may be small, and wondered how best to categorize the rages of the beast. For the talking cup and teapot, she read Descartes. I suppose, therefore, that all things I see must be illusions. Proust told her our worst fears, like our greatest hopes, are not outside our powers, and we can come, in the end, to triumph. As she lay next to the beast, Anais Nin gave her freedom to see past his furs and fangs. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Then, when the day came, she found the withered rose and embraced this Shakespeare quote. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind. As the rose gained its strength, the beast smelled just as sweet. Belle loved her beast well. They embraced in tales of innocence, of rage, to howl, to quietly study. To create positive change, they began to work together on a manifesto. As the little prince said, it's the time you have wasted for your rose that makes the rose so important. And this next one, also from the Princess Manifesto, is Rapunzel. Rapunzel didn't enjoy spinning. The seat was too hard. Her legs kept cramping, but the witch made her practice every day. She didn't enjoy the prince's tug on her braid. It sent her into convulsions. He promised her riches and power while his hard body pushed and pulled. Those promises didn't make it hurt any less. How many times must she endure his visits before he gets the guts to take her with him? Does he even have a kingdom? All this thinking while spinning left her raw. Plus, she needed more greens. Years went by without a sound. Then below the tower came the roar of machines. Far beyond the witch's cabin on Route 66, she heard men riding black Harleys like horses. They wore hard leather armor and were blind to the witch's enchantments. Invisible from her perch in the tower, Rapunzel felt the depths of their vibration. She decided to weave a trap and get the hell out of the tower on her own. When the witch came back, the glow from Rapunzel's shaved head turned the witch inside out. Her mouth and the tower door fell. Rapunzel used that moment, pushed the old bat out the tower window, a blonde braid noose wrapped round the witch's scrawny neck. Rapunzel then went straight to the garden and ate all the Swiss chard. With a mouthful of green-stained teeth, she kept watch in the witch's cabin. She lit candles and practiced spells, found Stevie Nicks records and danced to Rhiannon in wild spinning circles. The witch had a decent library. Rapunzel read Kafka and Kerouac. She left a note for the prince. It's the too huge road vaulting us, and this is goodbye, sucker. Then she picked up everything of value And then she packed up everything of value in a big satin satchel, took the witch's grimoire to find spells and ideas for a colored sleeve, and headed out on the road to meet some bikers, take a spin on a Harley, and get tattooed. So um, this next one came from just an article I saw in my pocket on Google page. One of the myriad of articles that comes up, but this headline just got me, and I was like, oh, okay, I got to do something with it. So, how will our religions handle the discovery of alien life? How will our religions handle the discovery of alien life? The Jews will share matzo ball soup and help them assimilate. They'll learn from them and hold patents on the tech they bring. Evangelical Christians will pretend they don't exist and consider them part of a QAnon conspiracy on cancel culture. Lutherans will hold bake sales for housing. Baptists will sing praises. Catholics will turn them into idols and saints. Buddhists will make a place at the table and offer them comfort. Mormons will ask if their planet is ready. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints will marry them into the family. Scientologists will produce an epic film starring Tom Cruise as their deliverer. Agnostics will be thrilled that their fridge magnets finally came true. Muslims will share wisdom, tikka masala, and look closely at their math. Pagans will light candles and embrace them with their nakedness. Atheists will do all of the above. No offense to any religions here, okay? It's just a fun little thing here. Okay, and then next. So for so long, since I moved here to Albuquerque from New York 3 years ago, I've been biking around this area on Silver. That's a great bike route. And there's this old abandoned church. And the old abandoned church has these four gorgeous statues of goddesses framed on top by this copper curvature millwork halo. It's just beautiful. And I think I fell for those statues pretty much right when I moved to Albuquerque. And one day recently I was biking by them again and I thought there's a poem here. And here's the poem. Church for Sale. For months I've been biking past four marble goddesses guarding a broken boarded entrance. I assumed they were Greek. Hera, Athena, Artemis, Aphrodite. Now I'm thinking they're Hebrew. Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, Leah, women of the Torah. The statuesque ladies face north, south, east, west. I ride around in circles asking for their blessing. The old church building they guard is boarded. Sleeping bags and garbage peek around the corners. They stand on green posts washed with age and scrubbed graffiti. Sometimes there's a body lying quiet under blankets. I try not to disturb, stop silent, place money and water at the foot of the goddess facing south. Once this was a thriving community, gaining strength and hope from the ladies in their woven copper halo. Not enough answered prayers, I suppose, as I ask for strength to welcome my burgeoning wisdom, still holding up, just barely, like the goddesses, their braids and molded marble scarves, straight backs, square shoulders, intact, facing all four corners, not quite yet in ruins. And this last poem, this is just thanks to Frank O'Hara. Thanks to Frank O'Hara, I am not a painter. I craft and play with words, but I can't make a shape come alive on canvas, no matter the color ink, no matter the size brush. I could never paint a sunflower you'd want to pick up or put in a vase. Their brilliant yellow, flawed brown center, airplane wing leaves, and tall, milky stems elude my shaking hands. So thanks again for listening to my poems. I'm thrilled to be doing this here in the Zoom room or whatever room it may be for you. And hopefully we'll see each other in person someday soon. Have a great one. And again, thanks to Rebecca, thanks to the Badmouth reading series, and thanks to you all.